All right, y'all. Bearder Bros Golf Show back for another week. I'm Rod.
And Marcus.
Because we had Dom on last week, we didn't get to talk about the disappointing end to our hometown Dallas Cowboys season. And it was just that. Unfortunately, I got a couple of texts, one from our cousin who's born and bred in Houston about the Houston Texans being able to progress and the Cowboys not being able to,
Who
especially Charles
he
after
said nothing about
a
the Texans to me and literally just wanted to egg on the Cowboys losing. So I didn't even respond. I don't entertain that because he's just
you don't
what
entertain
he
the
is.
haters,
He's a
huh?
hater. He's a hater. He doesn't have a squad. He's not a forefront Texans fan. He's not a Steelers fan. At least Unc is full on board gold and black. That's what my team is. That's why I'm not a Cowboys fan. That's why I'm not a Texans fan. I'm not even gonna say Cuzzo's name because he doesn't deserve that shine. But brother, you don't even have a team to fight for. You are just a hater. Live on that
Okay,
lot.
we got you.
Live
We
on
got
that,
we
bro.
got you. We got you distracted already. So the Cowboys,
No, yeah,
after
yeah.
a
Go ahead.
successful regular season, just really came out from the gate and got taken out
Didn't.
behind the woodshed by the Green Bay Packers, which they looked good yesterday. weren't able to pull it out, but looked good for the majority of the game. Uh, but what do you think, man? Especially, the news of Mike McCarthy being able to keep his job one more year, going into a lame dunk season with no extension on the table. What are your thoughts about next year's prospects? And who do you place the blame on? Let's go with the highest. Like let's go in order, right? So who do you blame? Dak? Do you blame Mike McCarthy? Do you blame Jerry Jones? Do you blame the defense for struggling? Who do you place the blame on for the early exit out of the playoffs?
Yeah. Mike McCarthy didn't have the boys ready. Dan Quinn switched up on defense. We're doing very successful things. Then we all of a sudden want to run zone. We want to switch up the whole ideology and things that were going very successfully, where we were beating the good teams that we faced, and then of course the reasons why we beat the shit out of the bad teams. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to place a lot of blame on Dak, but Dakota is what he is. And again, like I said 2 weeks ago, this is why I'm on the fence. When it comes time to put up or shut up, my man's has the lights in his face and he is blinded.
Blinded by the lights, wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night.
And he doesn't know how to act. There is no like way for me to put it lightly. Bro, just he's a lot of talk.
He looked
It's
shook.
like
I mean, he looked
he
shook after
looks
throwing it to the
shook,
Green Bay Packers. Yeah.
and it's like then you go through the game. CD didn't really touch the ball. Tony Pollard once again proves he is not a number one running back. He needs a time. He needs a partner. Ferguson was the only one that showed up. Bro was hooping in them high top Jordan ones and was styling. And then,
Oh
in an
Lord.
even better manner, you watch as they get all these garbage points and garbage yards in disgust. And my man's is getting all these outs. He's getting these deep middle balls. He scores a touchdown. He throws the ball back to the ref, goes on about his business because he knows there's nothing to celebrate.
Oh,
Thankful to
the
players like
score
that. You know what I'm saying?
the score wasn't even, the final score wasn't even indicative of how the game went. Those were all kind of
This
garbage
is
points, and then
1,000%. This is the me and Rod's territory. This is the game that the Mavs won by 10 on the paper, but really we was up by 30 the whole game and the garbage players came in. That's why the league got tight. You know what I'm saying? This is what happened. So as much as I want to sit here and harp on 32 points, it was 22 of it in garbage time when it was BS, when it
Yeah,
didn't matter.
yeah, the
So,
game was over.
but I will say this though. At least we put up 32 and not 9 points to go out in an even more embarrassing fashion. So let me just throw that in there real quick to the
My,
homies and
I,
to all of my people. Go
I
ahead.
really have beef though with the coaching selection and going forward again with Mike McCarthy because I agree with your initial statement
Oh,
that he didn't have the guys ready to play. The unfortunate
right.
part is that to have a coach who's a leader of men. I'm not a Bill Belichick fan, but do I think he's an upgrade over Mike McCarthy?
Easily.
Probably, right? He was his career very much mirrored Tom Brady, and so they each have to give themselves their own accolades, right? But it's clear when Bill Belichick doesn't have an elite quarterback, it's hard for him to win. But that's was his story. Even a guy like I know it seems like
That's Mike McCarthy's story
Tomlin.
too in a short version.
You're right. You're right. And hell, you do need a good quarterback to win in this league at this point. At least one that's serviceable and not throwing the ball to the other team. That's the key, right? So you can
Agree.
be very much a game manager, but don't throw the ball to the other team, and you can have decent success in the NFL. But also another problem is that you can't get a coach that is strong minded in with the Cowboys. As long as Jerry Jones is the owner of this team, we are never going to have a coach that has a ball sack to just speak up about the things that are necessary. And when there has been that type of coach, they didn't last very long because there was always the internal conflict. You go back to when you were barely alive, and you know
Jimmy
the
Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson days, right?
Yeah.
Who just was celebrated by the Cowboys this year. It's
Yeah.
been literally 28 years since the Cowboys have won a championship. 28 years. We're
Yeah.
almost to 30 years. That's ridiculous. And you think about another coach that was strong minded, didn't last very long. Bill
Bill
Parcells,
Parcells.
same thing.
Exactly.
Wanted to shop for his own groceries. Always fighting with Jerry. He's like, I'm gonna get the hell up out of town, man. This is not worth the juice isn't worth the squeeze anymore. So
Absolutely. Just
there's
think
so
about
many
the
things
culture
that
that
are
he
wrong.
changed.
Yeah. But leaders of men don't come coach here. They just don't.
Yeah. Well, they can't.
It's just
They're not
no,
allowed
they
to.
won't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think Jerry is just like this is my team to run. I'm the smartest man in the room, which just an advice to anybody out there listening, if you feel like you're the smartest man in the room, you're probably in the wrong room. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
take
Just
that for
another
what you
harp
want.
on Mike McCarthy. Again, when you're coming from, again, when you're, no, I don't want to sound like disrespectful. When you're coming from Aaron, well, it's going to be disrespect regardless.
I'm going to say this with the utmost disrespect.
When you're coming from a guy like Aaron Rodgers to Dakota Prescott, there's going to be some fall off, point blank, period. In the same context, though, you need to understand what you have in front of you. This is like Kevin McHale. I'm in Houston now for anybody that's listening and watching. Been in Houston for quite a bit of time. This reminds me of when Kevin McHale came here. Kevin McHale had a lot of talent. He had a lot of pedigree, proven championship player, proven championship coach. But thought players were going to have a brain to think for themselves, be able to really calculate and make things happen for themselves. This isn't the case. Mike McCarthy, once again, thinks he can put the reins on Rain and have him control an offense by himself. He is not capable. When you think of a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who can first of all, make any throw, elusive enough to get out of the pocket, safely still be able to throw accurately on the run, two deep balls, short balls, dink and dunks, control the clock, have multiple plays called, and be able to run, not be able to look. Oh, Mike, what you think? Mike, you think we can run that? Kill,
No,
kill.
he's
No,
no,
I'm
no, no.
not. I'm not ready.
You can just roll. Aaron Rodgers is a roll the ball out there at quarterback, right? That he could improvise. He had
You
the
got
legs
it,
to do it.
Aaron. You got it,
And
buddy. We don't have that.
Dak Dak
We don't have that with
Dak
Dak.
doesn't have Dak is good with his legs, but honestly, Aaron Rodgers was better. Clearly, and we know
True.
Aaron Rodgers has elite arm talent, right? Just kind of stupid. The angles that he can throw from, he was the one of the first incarnations of what we see in a Patrick Mahomes today,
Yeah,
right? Just
but
being
just
able
think
to throw
about the
from all kinds of different
ability.
platforms.
Just think about the ability. There is no softness. There is no lobability with a Dak throw. Aaron Rodgers had every window. You want to talk about
Yes.
Tiger, 9 windows? I'm low here. I'm low right, low left. It is one tunnel and is out the middle, and you better be able to catch it.
Right. Right.
Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers, I'm gonna put it in the basket. I'm gonna put it over
I'm
here.
gonna put I'm
Let
gonna
you
put it
lead
behind
you
the
to run.
I'm gonna put it behind the defender's right earlobe. Like I'm gonna throw it behind him, so
You
right
want to
behind his
talk
helmet.
about
So
yeah? There's two. There's there. Look at history of football. There is two QBs that revolutionized fade routes and how we think about one on one routes, option routes, anything like that.
yep,
And arm talent and ability to process the game were the top two traits. Peyton, Aaron Rodgers. You want to talk
and
about
Brady
being able
and
to
Brady.
well, yeah, but no. Brady was just a great leader. Like Grady, and then again, he had a better
I,
running. He had a better running game, better
he I
clock
get it.
controller.
I agree. He didn't have the greatest deep ball, but intermediate throws he had the variation right with the option routes
Yeah,
and
no,
being
I
able to read
agree.
the
Tom Brady,
defense. Yeah,
yeah, Tom Brady, top three QB, top two QB, probably greatest ever. Really, honestly, to me, it's between Tom Brady and Peyton. Peyton being the literally, most brainiac QB we have. Then, of course, Tom Brady, probably the most like the most submitted winner we'll ever have in our generation or in football, period. Nobody's going to do what he's doing again. All we're going to be trying to do is live up to the arm talent of Aaron Rodgers and the winning ability of Tom Brady. And, we're looking at Pat Mahomes, who may be able to surpass both, but we still have a lot more to go. But
yeah,
as far as it goes with what Dak is doing, he doesn't have that. We don't have a back shoulder fade quarterback. We don't have I'm going to throw you from the line, from the numbers, and put it perfectly in a spot where you can run underneath it and either twinkle toes, get out of bounds, stop clock, or take it to the house. We have CD Lamb. We have speed on the outside. We have utility guys. We have a Julian Edelman. We have a freaking Randall Cobb. We have all of these players from all of these Hall of Fame QBs, and we don't have the arm ability to match it, nor the
right.
coaching prowess around it. Again,
And
you have
you
to
got
dumb things.
parents. You got parents. This I saw an article this morning about CD Lamb's mom saying they need to get her son out of town or get Dak out of town. One of the two. It's getting bad. It's getting ugly up in
CD
there.
about to get his money and Dak about to get his money. They're gonna try to make them a tandem because again, not saying shit is scripted, but they're gonna have their storylines. And Dak to CD is definitely gonna be one of them, whether it's just the Dallas storyline or whether the NFL is pushing it. But Jerry gonna definitely have enough money to pay both. And I don't think Dak's worth it. I think CD is. But
Yeah,
people are afraid to
Dak wasn't
build
ready.
around a singular receiver. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Dak wasn't able to, didn't deserve it the last extension that he got. I guess the ultimate
Truly
question is,
didn't.
it's hard to start over in the draft. I don't think there's any QB that I would take out of this year's draft that you could come lead a team, especially where they're going to be drafting, right?
Yeah.
But who exists in the league that you think is not somebody else's long term starter that could upgrade the Cowboys at the QB position.
Nobody. I mean, I don't know. We're
We're
honestly in
just
a
stuck, bro. That's the shitty
right.
part. We're just like we're gonna be
Yeah.
mediocre for years.
Is Dak a top five QB? No, but is he 5 to 10 statistically and everything else? Yeah, but I mean, it's so freaking stupid. Like, you know what? I'm not even jealous. I'm very happy because, yo, if we talking, legacy and like some people we're gonna be, like thinking about the next 10 years type deal. CJ Stroud is it. I've talked about
He's the
it
man.
all season.
He's the
That
he's the man.
hey, that dude is I don't want to say him, but bro is it. Bro is it.
Yeah.
He got the swag on and off the field. He knows what he's aligned with. He's a very pious guy. He done fought for his dad. The dude, got into the wrong ring. See, yeah. Did you see the new little snippet that's come out about Snoop and him being
No.
in Snoop's Pee Wee League that whole time on the West Coast? He was
No,
like,
I didn't
man,
see that.
yeah, man, I'm gonna send it to you if I can find it again. But he gave a few shout outs to some players in the league, but of course we're highlighting CJ. So he was like, man, you could tell back then CJ was gonna be doing something. I mean, he just had it again, multi-sport guy, but found a niche in football. Wasn't the again from childhood they said it with his testing and everything. Not the smartest kid, not the most athletic gift, but like a quarterback through and through. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
when you put it all together, yeah.
When you put it all together, I mean, but shit, Tom Brady the same way. Tom Brady wasn't just an amazing well, clearly not an athlete, but like nobody was talking about nobody was talking about Tom Brady testing in his draft combine and shit like that. Nobody's like, yo,
No.
he hits all the marks
Nah,
with his testing.
he was soft as a marshmallow, man.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, kudos to him. You think about guys like middle of the road, like a Jared Goff or something like that. Could we steal him?
Bro,
Probably, but does he want to
I
come over
don't care what
here?
nobody
No.
says. Jared Goff to me is like he is in the top 10. You saw what he did with
I
LA.
take
You
him.
see what he's doing with Detroit this year, man. Shout out to
Yeah.
Jared
Well, I
Goff for
will
like
say, shout out
crapping
to
on the
Jared
haters,
Goff
man.
for sure. But I will say, let me just say this: the Rams head coach is that man as far as coaching goes. That dude knows every millimeter of that script in that playbook. So like that, it's come out that the coach and like the people can talk to you to up to a certain amount. They talking about Sean McVay walking them through every possible like little scenario. Look, we called this play. You got this first option. If it's not open, you need to be skipping over to the third option because the third option, hold up, and then he'll be talking all the way until snap. That's what McVay is like. You think about just having a guy like that, we'd never be allowed to have a guy like that. To have that much say
No.
with the play calling, have that much say with the personnel we have, no way. No freaking way we get blessed with a Sean McVay. You know what
No.
I'm saying? But
And you can
Matt,
spend unlimited money on a coach, and Jerry just doesn't
right,
see the value in paying a coach that kind of money.
right. And I think another thing about it, unfortunately, is Mike McCarthy in his last year of this deal probably either going to either retire after this or be looking for one more big deal before he rides off into the sunset. So again, do you think he's not on a contract year, not going to try to fight his hardest or coach his hardest
I
this year
think he
coming
could
up?
fight his. I think he'll fight his hardest, and when
This
people
isn't
are desperate. But is he hurting for money? No, he got paid
no,
enough to secure himself from Green Bay, enough
and he's a
here.
champion.
I don't think he's, and I think his reputation in the league especially depending on how they go out in the playoffs, or in their playoff run next year, or let's say they have a crappy regular season, I think his reputation has been burnt, right? So all these guys that
No.
come off of these
Uh-uh.
coaching trees, all these guys that come off these coaching trees and look good, for a while or are able to kind of ride the success. But once it's been proven that you're not the key and it's really more so the talent that's around you that drove your success, you get exposed real quick. And I don't know, to me, again, a lot of stuff comes down to charisma. Mike McCarthy doesn't have the charisma to fight back for another high profile job. He may be able to go over to Carolina or something and get some kind of rebuilding job, but he will never get another elite job ever again. This is it. He
He,
better figure out how to
he's
win next year and capitalize.
he's not gonna go to a rebuild. He's too old for that. And again, when you
He's
play
done
with
then.
bro, you won a ring. He won a ring, whether it be with A Rod or not, but he's won a ring. So the pedigree we think he has amongst Cowboys fans and what we've seen, even with the disappointment and the choking ability, somebody's still gonna be like, well, he won that ring that 1 year. He is
Bro,
pretty ballsy,
bro.
on a fourth down
Do
play.
you see okay, so I think let's compare and contrast two people who have similar resumes just from a winning standpoint. Think about Mike Tomlin and think about Mike McCarthy, right? Both have championships and both have underperformed according to fan expectations in recent years. There are people fighting for Mike Tomlin as they see him as a leader of men. I don't see people coming out and vouching for Mike McCarthy on any level, bro. You don't hear players just kind of defending him to the ends of the earth. You just don't see that. And I think that, again, charisma and leader of men is not what Mike McCarthy is. And I think that buys people credibility in the coaching room. And I don't think he has that. Again, I could
Yeah,
be
I think you're
wrong,
doing
but
a disservice to. You're not wrong, but you're doing a disservice to Tomlin. I think I wouldn't even come. They not even in the same tier to me.
you
If
think
I'm being
Tomlin's like
honest.
what? But wins wise, championship wise, they're similar. Like if you looked at their records, on paper they look the same. I think Mike Tomlin's an elite coach. I just think they've not had the greatest talent, but I think he's gotten the most out of that team that he could have. While on the other hand, when you look at the defense and the talent that's on the Cowboys, even with Dak's struggles, should they have
Hmm.
advanced beyond the first round? I mean, come on, that's like the dumbest. Yes, absolutely. They should have been
Yeah,
able to at least advance to round two this year. And to go out as ugly as and it's not even the losing. It's not that like they lost the game on the last possession. Some Tony Romo, fumbled a snap on a kick stuff. It was just a
yeah,
blowout. I mean, it was pretty much over by halftime, bro. You're not overcoming three touchdowns. That is pretty insurmountable with 2 quarters to go with a decent team. So I don't know, man. I am hopeful that they are able to get their stuff together as he enters his contract year. That would be the best thing for the Cowboys for him to coach like his life depended on it, which it does. His professional life depends on next season. If he wants to
yeah,
continue doing this thing professionally, I'm sorry.
yeah,
He's about he wasn't it ain't like he was just like I'm done with Green Bay. He was almost run out of town, man. So it's hard to get ran out of town twice when people are getting opportunities. You look at like a Gerard Mayo, who's not even been a coordinator up in New England, get a job this year. People are getting chances, and so getting these recycled coaches are running out of opportunities to just bounce around and collect paychecks like they have in the past. I think that day is gone. But what do I know?
agreed.
This is a golf show. This is a golf show. I'm just out here spitballing on this NFL thing because we were just so frustrated and didn't get to talk about the Cowboys last week. So anyway, anything else you want to add before we hop off and retire this thing for this week?
I agreed with you on the coaching stuff.
Whatever.
No matter, Zay.
I felt some pushback, but don't get me fired up.
I don't want Mike McCarthy, but motherfuckers not. I mean, we just not even advocating for him. People are advocating for Tomlin. Like the ownership is like, yo, Mike Tomlin, bro, we'll have you as long as you'll be here, bud. Because
Exactly.
they're not racist.
Can we get that? Can we get that? Can we get
No.
some? Anyway, all right, all right. Before we get in trouble, you get a lot of stuff out of this channel, y'all. A little business knowledge, a little technical golf knowledge, a little BS in here and there. You're in a well-rounded environment. So,
Absolutely.
hit that subscribe button, hit that membership button. We got you covered on all things golf.